Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, says the government is constantly proving that its focus and interest does not lie with the people. He says it must be understood that the public sector will remain long after an elected government is gone. Pierre indicated that under his watch, there would be no such contention as is now playing out with the public sector. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
The government of St. Lucia and the unions representing the interest of members of the public sector to date have not been able to arrive at a mutually beneficial agreement on the proposed wage negotiations. Leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, says the government needs to do better when dealing with the interests of the sector responsible for carrying out its policies.
A government should always be working in harmony with the public servants, because actually the public servants are the ones who make government policy work. So government should always try its best never to be at loggerheads with the public servants. The Prime Minister's attitude, when he can say to the unions, the representative of the workers, that they should not question government's plans or government's policies because they were not elected. This is really absurd.
Pierre says the current administration is focused solely on revenue at this juncture, whereas its attention should be on stabilizing the public during such difficult times.
The Prime Minister's logic is one-sided, and he isn't ready or able to listen to the contra view. He's just bent on revenue. What the Prime Minister fails to understand is that money flows. Money works in cycles. There's a circular flow of money. And at this time, we have to promote consumption.
The leader of the opposition indicated that his government, if in that position, would have never made such insensitive comments and would have endeavored to arrive at a mutual agreement through compromise from both parties, as is not being seen with the current administration.
As Prime Minister of the country, I would never have made such an outlandish statement or saying to civil servants, don't tell me what to do. I'd never behave like that. I would seek compromise, I would seek understanding, and not compromise or discussion, not compromise as a point one person is weak or one person is strong. Real compromise, a win-win situation. You see, what the Prime Minister is doing, he is putting ideas on the table, he's casting them in stone, and he's saying to you, that's what I want to do, so let's come and talk about what I want to do. That is not genuine consultation.
Pierre believes there are many other modalities that could have been employed to ensure a proper balance between consumption and revenue in the country that up to this day has not been taken into consideration. Pierre is adamant that the government has ulterior motives for wanting to reduce on public servants' disposable income during such a difficult economic period, particularly with an upcoming election on the horizon. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
Local philanthropist Dr. Venus Sherry, in collaboration with Rise and Safe Spaces St. Lucia, has commenced the distribution of electronic devices to less fortunate students across the island. Dr. James Fletcher on Wednesday made the presentation to the Methodist Primary School. While glad that donations have begun, Dr. Sherry says the end goal has not been met as only half of the amount needed has been sourced. Members of the public are urged to continue supporting the initiative until all 600+ students can receive devices.
Local philanthropist Dr. Venus Cherry on April 21st created a GoFundMe account in the hopes of providing some less fortunate students with electronic devices in order to participate in virtual learning. Almost 1 month later, Dr. Cherry has requests from over 600 households in need of devices. Distributions of the electronic devices began on Tuesday 19th with Dr. Cherry covering majority of the schools within the Grozile Basin. A total of 73 devices were distributed.
So as you know, we started distribution yesterday. I did the northern area, I did Grozile. So we did Babono Secondary, Balata Primary, Care Grozile, Cassis Comprehensive, Corin Secondary, Dampulet Louisi, Foaso Primary, Grand Riviere Primary, Grozile Infant Primary, Lague Primary, Moshi Primary, Sir Ira Simmons Secondary, St. Lucia Sports Academy, and the Stanley John Odlum School.
Distributions commenced in the hopes of giving students of grade 6 and Form 5 who were in need. However, Cherry has indicated that the end goal of sourcing 670 devices have not been met.
Because we only have 224 devices, we try to focus on the grade 6 students, who will be sitting exam soon, and the Form 5 students, who will also be sitting exam soon. So then we looked at those numbers, what schools they were from, and we try, based on the numbers we had, to divide up based on how many names were submitted per school to give a percentage of that. Like, for example, if a school only sent us 1 or 2 names, then that school had 100% a receiving rate from us because we just provided those devices. But when we had schools like Grosley Primary that provided us a list of like 40-something students, Grand Riviere that provided a list of like 70-something students, some of those schools got a little more because of the number of students.
On Wednesday, Dr. James Fletcher handed over gadgets to the principal of the Gordon and Walcott Methodist Primary School.
I'm helping out today with the distributions in the Castries area, and as you see, we had the Methodist school today. We've just delivered 2 devices, and hopefully today we can cover as many of the schools in the Castries area as possible. I think Venus is also doing some of the schools on the East Coast, like Bexar, Labby, those areas. And there's also a distribution that is taking place along the West Coast. I think that Dr. King is handling that.
Cherry indicated schools which submitted names of students who weren't in grade 6 or Form 5 still got a few devices, as his team aims to provide every school on island with devices. Members of the public are being urged to continue donating and supporting the cause until the end goal is met. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
On Wednesday, the 20th of May, contracts were officially signed for the Laguerre and Plateau Roads reconstruction project, paving the way for the commencement of works. This is the latest in a list of interventions being done under the Road Improvement and Maintenance Program funded by the Republic of China on Taiwan. The Laguerre and Plateau Roads reconstruction project includes complete reconstruction of approximately 3,696 meters of road from Paybush Gap to Monsitor via Laguerre, drainage works, and also residence access. The project is being executed by OECC Mega Construction and scheduled for completion in 8 months, weather permitting. During the construction phases, there will be some inconveniences like dust and noise pollution. The Department of Infrastructure apologizes for any inconvenience that this may cause. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Sports and weather are coming up.